Good afternoon, everybody. My name's Todd, and this is Ottawa Valley Vintage Motorcycles. This episode, we're going to take a 1980 Honda XR200 that's been sitting in the back of the barn for several years, close to 20, I would say. Lots of dust on it, and just hasn't been running for a long time. And we're going to restore it. So it's got a aftermarket tank on it, a tank off of another bike, because the original tank was all rusted out and everything. So I'm going to put a liner in that. Gonna put a new spark plug, change the fluids, put some new tires on it, front and back. I'm gonna powder coat the rims in a nice satin black. I'm gonna take the exhaust and remove it, do some sandblasting, powder coat it in a high temp powder. I'm gonna powder coat the sprocket on it, and just basically do some some cleaning up. I'm gonna get some decals for the sides, some new decals, freshen it up a little bit. Put a pad on the front over the crossbar, and just make this bike look a little bit nicer. So stay tuned, and I hope you enjoy. Thank you. XR200 rim, powder coated black, a satin black, and a new tire put on. What do you guys think of that? All right, so we're going to take this exhaust and clean it up a bit and then powder coat it. Okay, so I've got her cleaned up pretty good. Like I said, you're still going to see that wave in there. So I'm going to sandblast it now and get into all these nooks and crannies. So when I powder coat it, it'll look a little nicer. But I noticed this. Got a couple of pinholes in it. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to start doing a little welding. Okay, so I just powdered the pipe in my high temp cauldron. I'm getting ready to put it into, it's a little long, so I'm putting it into 2 ovens. I got a little seal around here. I bring the 2 ovens together and I ratchet strap them together. I took the wires off of the top element here. I brought them over to the bottom element there. So now I got 2 bottom elements going. So it'll be a nice even heat. All right, the parts are ready. Put it in there for 15 minutes at 450 degrees. Let's take a look. There she is. High temp powder. All right, so we got some exhaust pipe parts baking in the oven for the XR. And we're going to do a hot flock powder coat on them. Okay, I just shot these parts with a high temp black cauldron for high temperature. And we're about to put them in the oven here now. Let them cure. Okay, I just slid them in the oven. We're going to let them get up to 450 and then we're going to leave it there for 15 minutes. Okay, these should be baked now. Let's take a look. Nice. We'll get them out of the oven. So I got my high temp on the actual pipe. And the clamp, I did it in high temp. It's a cauldron. And this is a gloss black. So that's going to look a little nicer on the bike. Well, here she is back together. Off my XR200. Still got a little bit of a dent here, but it's got the black high temp powder on there. And I got just some gloss powder here. It should look a lot better once it's on the bike. Better than how rusted out it was looking before. All right, so there she is. I just kind of mocked it up here. Haven't bolted her down, but that's gonna look super good on this XR200. All right, I just slipped this exhaust back into place and tighten it up here now. And these bolts here are loose and the bolt here is loose. So we're gonna tighten it down here first and then snug this in and then snug these down. But the exhaust is looking really nice. All right, so we're gonna break this bead. No metal on metal contact. Nice rubberized tips. Get this cleaned up a little bit, got the bearings out. powder coat that, and it's gonna look great after sandblasting. Okay, so on this side, I just got these holes plugged off, and I plugged the inside of the bearing, or where the bearing would go. Now I'm gonna plug up this hole here, so where the bearing sits. I don't want any powder on that either. Nice satin black, looking good. There she is, sitting in place. Now you're going to heat up this side and tap her down. Now I got that dust seal. Put a little grease on it. Still a little hot. You usually can push in by just with your thumbs. Bearing moves nicely. Well, there she is with a new Dunlop mounted on the powder coated rim. Looks pretty sweet. We get these parts out in some natural light so you can see the nice powder coat. Shocks are going to look good. Alright, so she's coming along. I got the rear wheel on, the rear sprocket on, the rear shock on one side. I just got to assemble the other shock and then put that on. Coming along, looking good. Well, here she is. I just got to do a little bit more cleaning, but she's pretty much back together. Looking real nice. So here it is, all cleaned up. 1979 XR200. Brand new tires, powder coated rims in satin black. Put a liner in the gas tank, new fluids, new spark plug, powder coated the rear shocks, the coils, painted the shocks themselves in red. The coils are done in a gloss black. Powder coated the exhaust in high temp. It's called a cauldron, so it's got a textured finish. And then the heat shield, I did that in a powder coated that in a gloss black. Seat's been stitched. The motor has never been apart on this bike. Valves have been adjusted, but that's it. This thing's all original. Got a few little nicks and dents and scratches, gives it some character. This is the original bike. Runs perfect. Let's fire it up and have a look. Turn the gas on. This petcock has been serviced. I took it apart and cleaned all the crap out of it. Let's see if she'll start with the choke off. First kick. Bike is idling. Typical Honda.